Hey, welcome. This is Beyond the Lane. My name is Mark, and as you can see, I have a big smile on my face. We have some fantastic news for you today. Christian Romero has signed a contract extension at the club. Sports journalist Fabrizio Romano has just posted on his site that he has signed a new contract with the club. So he apparently had 2 years left on his current deal. And in a previous video, I did mention that now that we've given him the armband, it would be good to tie him down, either to show our support for the player and that we want to keep him long term, but also the fact that if we were to sell him, we can command a far, far higher fee for the player. In fact, we have now made him the club captain and he has signed this contract extension. Goes to show that we have a statement of intent in terms of we are looking to build on the squad that we have and not just look to just do the same as what we've always done. So that is great news. If we're talking about contract extensions, Jed Spence has also done the same. Details on both of the contracts for both of those players have not been released as yet, but if we're looking at very similar form, it's probably another 2 to 3 year extension to the contract that they already have. So once we get the details confirmed by the club for those players, we'll put it in our video and we'll have a separate side chat about that and what it means for the club as well as the fan base. So, with that out of the way, let's go and have a look at the two other players that we are looking to get through the door. Eze at Crystal Palace. The information coming out again from Fabrizio Romano is that Daniel Levy is in direct conversation with Steve Paris, the Crystal Palace chairman, about concluding this deal and bringing Eze to the club. Eze has made Palace aware that he wants to make the move. He's wanting to play Champions League football and he wants to do it at Tottenham Hotspur. I believe that personal terms have been negotiated and agreed with the player and his agents. So that is just a case of agreeing what that fee looks like for Palace. Palace, however, are wanting to try and bring in a replacement before he leaves the club, which isn't unfair to them because if you were leaving your best player to go somewhere else, you want to make sure you have a suitable replacement in through the door to pick up the reins for them when they leave. Certainly, if you see what we did with Harry Kane leaving, we brought in Dominic Solanke. So it makes sense to be able to do that and for them to have enough time to be able to do that as well. So that one looks like it's definitely something that will happen. It's just a matter of time and just agreeing the important bit, which is the fee that is acceptable to both parties to make that move happen. But that one definitely looks like it is going to come over the line. Savinho is the next one that we have been looking at. Pep Guardiola has been quite heavily talking about in the media that he does not want the player to leave. However, as we've seen with other players, Alvarez, for example, players who are determined to leave or wishing to go, he certainly hasn't stepped in their way to block that passage. Certainly for City, it makes sense for them. They're wanting to try and sign Rodrigo from Real Madrid, who we had been linked with previously, but there's probably more likelihood that he would leave Madrid and go to Man City than he would do to us. But selling Savinho allows that to happen. They get a player out of the squad, they get a hefty chunk of money to put towards that 80 to 100 million that Madrid will want to let him go. As I say, that transfer is probably more likely to happen to City for City than it ever was for us. On a side note, in terms of Savinho himself, he apparently has a clause in his contract that will double his wages once he hits 100 games. Last season, he played 48. City again will have a massive schedule of games. I think it's around 60 to 65. So whether or not he plays that same amount to try and put him to that 100 is probably not going to happen this season. And certainly with the number of players that City have brought in, his game time this season and going forward will be severely limited. So again, the player is looking to make that move because instead of doubling his wage to 80 to 90,000 pounds a week at City, he could make a move, get them some money, and almost double his wages going to Spurs. Certainly for Spurs, 80 to 90,000 pounds a week is nothing. It sits well within the pay structure that we have at the club. So would certainly make that move more sense to the player as well as to us as a club as well. And certainly one I think we'd like to see go over the line. In terms of transfers so far this season, the only kind of snagging points, certainly for me, in terms of what we've done and how we've done these deals, it seems like all of these transfers are really dragged out. So it really makes me wonder, how are we conducting ourselves this season that makes it different from how we've conducted transfers in previous seasons? It certainly looks as if Daniel Levy is letting others manage those contract negotiations and certainly the bids going forward. and it's maybe why he's had to step into the Eze deal, is that he's seeing the unrest amongst the fan base, because certainly us as supporters are not happy. This is a person who we have looked at for a number of seasons. He is certainly the number one player that we were wanting to see come through the door. And it just hasn't happened yet. He looks like he has now stepped in to go chairman to chairman and get that agreement in. So that's why that one seems a bit more likelier to happen. But again, what is Johan Lange doing? What is Vinny Verteshen doing in the background? If these guys are the ones that are leading on the negotiations, why are we taking so long to get these things over the line? So I think it's definitely something that needs to be answered and addressed within the club. We certainly seem to be taking way too long to get these things over the line. So that is the transfer update news. Fantastic news about Romero and Jed Spence signing extensions to their contracts for the club. Well deserved for both players, and definitely a statement of intent, certainly where Christian Romero is concerned. And if Daniel Levy stepping in is the one that gets Eze over the line, then that's certainly that attacking lineup for the club is looking very, very good. If we get Savinho over the line, then it's the icing on the cake, especially when you have a look at how we played against Burnley at the weekend. And I know it's Burnley, it's a newly promoted club. You're expected to go in and do something, but sometimes with Spurs and against a brand newly promoted club, it's very difficult to judge how that is going to turn out. I will have a reaction video to the game of the weekend. Now, we were very busy at the weekend, so I never got the opportunity to do so. And we'll cover off all the points because there's a hell of a lot to talk about that too. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching the video. Drop a like on it, put your comments down below, let me know what you think about everything we've just spoken about, because there is just so much to impact from that. And more importantly, subscribe to the channel. I will see you in the next one. Come on, you Spurs.